Let's queer up the courts. In queer American history, Obergefell v. Hodges, ruling by Supreme Court, legalizes gay marriage. Obergefell v. Hodges is a landmark U.S. Supreme Court case that legalized same-sex marriage in the United States. The case originated from a series of lawsuits filed by same-sex couples from several states who were seeking the right to marry or to have their out-of-state marriages recognized. The case reached the U.S. Supreme Court after various lower courts issued conflicting rulings on the constitutionality of state bans on same-sex marriage. The Supreme Court agreed to hear 4 consolidated cases: Obergefell v. Hodges, Tanco v. Haslam, DeBoer v. Snyder, and Bourke v. Beshear. On June 26, 2015, in a 5-4 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that same-sex couples have the fundamental right to marry under the 14th Amendment's due process and equal protection clauses of the Constitution. The ruling in Obergefell v. Hodges effectively legalized same-sex marriage nationwide, making it legal and recognized in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. The Obergefell ruling granted same-sex couples the same legal recognition and protections as opposite-sex couples, including benefits related to taxation, inheritance, healthcare, and adoption, among others. But while the Obergefell ruling legalized same-sex marriage nationwide, efforts are ongoing to secure and protect LGBTQ+ rights in areas such as employment, non-discrimination, transgender rights, and healthcare, among others. This feels like yesterday, because it was like yesterday, and I remember that happening, and I'm saying there is a possibility in my lifetime I'll be able to get married, and then we're slowly seeing that possibility kind of fade with the Supreme Court. I mean, I know it was Clarence Thomas, unfortunately, who said in the Dobbs decision that they needed to revisit Obergefell in that ruling. And so, I mean, it's still kind of on edge, but it's great that something like this happened in our lifetime, and it showed that the country kind of moved.
What a vastly different Supreme Court it was in 2015, which of course was reinforced just last week on the 29th of June when they struck down college affirmative action programs. So this is not our favorite Supreme Court.
Yeah. I mean, and even then it was, I mean, that is in 2015. I mean, I remember this day too, like it was a 5-4 decision. It was close. Like, no, we actually weren't sure. Like it was, and I have to admit, and I'm not, like I'm probably double your age a lot. And I don't mean that in age, but that is like, I didn't think it was going to happen in my lifetime. And I'm not like that much, you know, like that, it just felt, that seemed impossible to me when I was a kid. Like that wasn't something that I thought was happening.
But didn't you think when you saw Massachusetts, Hawaii, California, when you saw it happening in the state by state thing, that it was...
I was watching the night. I was watching Rachel Maddow covering New York State live. And the only reason it's a core memory for me was that it was about, and I actually did the math on this recently because it showed up in my Facebook memories. It was about 8 months after Bruce died. And I was watching it live, and I watched it pass, and I was cheering 1 minute and on the floor in tears the next. Because had he lived, he might have asked me to marry him, and of course I would have said yes. And now I'm coming up on 13 years since that's happened. But, you know, I mean, I'm surprised nobody's mentioned cakes. Because it's like a lot of this crap.
They'll be coming back to the cake soon.
The bakers.
That's the cake?
Yeah. That was the big thing, like 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, the cakes, the bathrooms, the cakes.
Oh, goodness.
And we still had that. What was the name of that bad-haired woman in the South that didn't...
Kim Davis.
Thank
Davis.
you.
Refused to give...
her.
What a looker she was.
Was that Kentucky?
Yes, Kentucky.
It was Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kim Davis.
Anyway.
All right.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.